I fell in love early in high school. My girlfriend was the top student in our class. Because of that, a lot of classmates and every subject teacher resented me, saying I was holding her back. The homeroom teacher talked to me several times, even spent his own money to take me out for a late night snack and share his life lessons. He boiled it down to one line: if you love her, do what's best for her. At your age, breaking up is what's best. I could feel how earnest he was. I went back and tried to break up. She refused. The next week, the homeroom teacher redid the seating chart. I was moved to the last row. My girlfriend was put in the first. Worse, her new desk mate was my well-known rival in love. He had great grades, second only to her, and to many people they did seem like a better match. As expected, he openly chased my girlfriend, with the classmates' tacit approval and the teacher's quiet support. The homeroom teacher practically paved the way for him. All the subject teachers, as if they'd agreed beforehand, kept pairing the two of them, putting them in charge of the class bulletin board, sending them to meetings together. Even for the New Year's gala, the music teacher bent the rules for them. They were allowed to do a duet of Wang Lee Holmes' Love is in the Heart as the finale, and spend long stretches every noon and evening alone in the dance studio, rehearsing and working out choreography. After New Year's, the two of them blew up on campus and became the school's officially recognized CP. My girlfriend either truly didn't get it or pretended not to. She didn't seem to notice how everything had changed. I shuffled through each day like a zombie, a clown under the camera lens, too ashamed to even walk into the classroom. The funniest, no, the cruelest part was that my rival and I shared the same birthday, which I didn't know. On the night of my birthday, after evening study hall, the class monitor told everyone to stay. Someone turned off the lights, and everyone started singing Happy Birthday. My eyes flooded in an instant. My cheeks burned, and it felt like warmth was rushing over every inch of my skin. But when the lights came on, no one was looking at me. The song wasn't for me. The hot tears froze into embarrassment on the spot. I slipped out, and the laughter and cheers inside followed me a long, long way down the hall. After that, I truly became inferior, avoided people, and stopped talking. I skipped class. I drifted. I disappeared. I gave up on myself. My girlfriend tried to find me many times, kept calling, sent me long messages. She said she sensed something was wrong but didn't know why I had turned into this. God, she didn't even know why. A crushing loneliness washed over me. A week later, my mother finally found me. Seeing her, my heart ached. She must have been exhausted, hair messy and greasy, heavy eye bags, voice gone hoarse. The homeroom teacher, as if he caught me red-handed, said I'd been absent without cause for too long and would recommend withdrawal. My mother was petrified. Withdrawal in her mind meant expelled, meant no more chance at an education. She didn't care who was watching. She dropped to her knees and begged my homeroom teacher to take it back. In that moment, I saw my always tough, razor-sharp mom abase herself before someone else, looking pitiful. I knew it wasn't that she'd stopped being tough or smart, it was that someone had their hand on her soft spot, and that soft spot was me. People crowded around to watch the spectacle, pointing and whispering at my expense. When the homeroom teacher wouldn't budge, my mother ran to the car and brought back a few live chickens we'd raised, shoving them into his hands. They're free range from home, really tasty. Please, try them. Please withdraw the recommendation and keep his registration, even if he has to move his desk outside the classroom to listen. I promise, he'll behave. Maybe the rope wasn't tied well. The chickens broke free at once and flapped and ran everywhere. More and more teachers and students stopped to watch. Their cold eyes and lofty attitudes seemed designed to crush me, to defend the real CP in their minds. In the end, the homeroom teacher, afraid the scene would get out of hand, reluctantly agreed to my mother's plea. I went back to that classroom, the place that had hurt me without end. I had to go back. For my mother, even if I died, I'd die in that classroom. I stormed up onto the podium, looked around at everyone, then bowed deeply to the homeroom teacher, tears pouring down. "I'm sorry, teacher, for all the trouble. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I'm sorry." I kept nodding and bowing, and my tears hit the floor one heavy drop at a time. I knew those weren't just tears of remorse. They were more the tears of humiliation and inferiority. After that, my girlfriend still wouldn't agree to break up. But she also stopped interacting with me much in public, keeping me on a leash while avoiding me. I was allowed back to class, but during every class period, morning and evening recitation, and night study, all I could do was watch her with him. They helped each other study, worked together seamlessly, chatting and laughing. The morning and evening recitations were the worst, my private hell. I watched them go back and forth. You recite for me, then I'll recite for you. When they finished, they'd gush loudly, "Wow, you memorized that so fast." During late study, they discussed problems so loudly that every supervising teacher not only didn't stop them, they praised them for it, again and again, saying the two of them were boosting the class's study vibe. They grew more and more inseparable, more in sync, more dependent on each other. Teachers and classmates increasingly embraced this harmonious picture. As if whether puppy love was good or bad depended on the people involved, I endured in silence, quietly memorizing vocabulary, economics and politics, poetry and history. On weekends, my girlfriend still went on walks with me, talked a lot, and sometimes brought a book to recite to me, then asked me to recite it back to her. But every time we recited, she brought him up. Every time we chatted, she brought him up. Every 3 sentences, it was him. Every 3 steps, she mentioned him. She may never know how my hypersensitive heart had already been shredded. And what she was doing then was rubbing salt hard into those open wounds. I hurt, but I didn't say it, didn't show it. I played it cool, like nothing was wrong. The more she went on about him, the calmer I acted. Now and then I'd reply, "You two are great. I'm so jealous. You're both amazing. Just don't let it hurt your studies, okay?" That push and pull lasted for a long time. Just as I was about to adapt to this emotional state, she belatedly sent me a message one night. "How did we end up like this?" I fell into thought. "Yeah, how did we end up like this?" She followed up with, "Maybe years later, I'll feel regret." When I saw the word regret, a sharp pain surged in my heart. It felt like we both silently guessed the ending of the story, yet neither of us made a move to salvage the situation. Isn't this the kind of regret that's made by our own hands? With that thought, I replied, "Let's go out this dragon boat festival." I closed my eyes and relived our memories. In the second semester of our first year, we became classmates because we both chose the liberal arts stream. Class, 25 inches the liberal arts had just been formed, and she stood out from the very first exam, ranking first in the class, which caught the attention of all the teachers. Our English teacher once thought she resembled her own daughter, and over time she started seeing my girlfriend as her daughter. The English teacher had been divorced for years, and her only daughter had moved to the UK with her father, so she hadn't seen her daughter in many years. Once, during a class where she analyzed an essay, she got emotional and began talking about her daughter, which made me realize that the English teacher was quite a lonely person. Jennifer was an extremely quiet girl, always speaking softly. Even when she laughed, she did so without showing her teeth, as if waiting for the bloom. The most interesting thing was that whenever someone stared at her, she would instantly blush. Her cheeks would turn as red as a ripe apple. It wasn't shyness, it was just how she naturally was. I often teased her, trying to make her change her face. Coincidentally, these traits were identical to those of the English teacher's daughter. Because of this, Jennifer had always been favored by the English teacher. At first, we had little interaction, and even after being classmates for half a semester, we hadn't said much to each other. It wasn't until I added her QQ in the class group and occasionally liked her posts on Moments. One time, I saw a video of her roller skating on her profile, and without thinking, I commented, "I want to learn. Teach me." Who would have thought that these 4 words would entangle our lives? Soon she asked me if I wanted to go skating. With a strong sense of novelty, I followed her into the skating rink. I thought it would be easy, but I overestimated myself. My stubborn nature led me to fall about 100 times that day. After we stopped to rest, I watched her skate for a while. She wore a white long skirt, skating effortlessly on the rink, natural and graceful, her long hair flowing as if she were stepping on clouds in the heavens. Suddenly, I thought of the phrase, like a delicate flower reflecting in the water when still, like a slender willow swaying in the wind when moving. It seemed to perfectly describe her. A strange feeling began to stir in my heart. Just then, she came over and extended her hand, signaling to skate a lap with me. I hesitated and shook my head, rejecting her. She smiled gently and teased, "Don't be afraid. I'll protect you." Who would have thought that this quiet, demure girl would have such a playful soul? I couldn't refuse anymore, so I reached out and slowly stood up. It felt like I was being too sentimental, but this was the first time I had held a girl's hand. While skating, I was particularly cautious, afraid I might fall and pull her down with me. But of course, what I feared happened. Someone came speeding toward us from the opposite direction, and I panicked. I lost control of my feet, and my shoe collided with hers. In a dramatic, unbelievable twist, she fell right into my arms. I'm not sure if it's the same for everyone who falls while skating, but in that moment, my heart had already ignited. Seeing her face up close and smelling her hair was a completely different kind of scent. That was the heart of a young boy. Her expression subtly changed, but it seemed like she didn't mind at all. After skating, it was dinner time, and I casually asked, "Want to grab a bite?" She happily agreed. Our first dinner together was quiet, but comfortable and natural. There wasn't a single awkward moment. She didn't eat egg yolks and asked me if I did. I nodded, saying it was fine. She used a fork to pick it up and brought it to my mouth. I couldn't help but laugh and asked, "Are you feeding me?" She smiled, her smile as beautiful as a flower. "If you think so, then yes." From that moment, I was completely smitten. After the meal, I suggested we go for a walk in the park to digest, and she agreed readily. The park was peaceful at night, with a gentle breeze. Under the soft yellow streetlights, the long shadows of two people naturally intertwined, and we held hands. The park was so small, and we walked round and round, almost greedily seeking fate. After returning, I really wanted to confess to her, but I felt it would be too sudden, too quick. I spent the whole night tangled in my thoughts, unable to sleep. Back at school, we returned to our separate, indifferent states. The classmates didn't notice anything. No one could have guessed that two people, who hadn't interacted much before, would share such a brief but precious memory. 2 weeks later, I couldn't hold back anymore, and after much contemplation, I edited a message and sent it. "You made me believe that love never needs time to develop. It's just the reunion of two souls who've already met countless times before their first face-to-face meeting." I waited for a long time. Finally, my phone buzzed. She replied, "In the torrent of time spanning billions of years, our brief lives pass in the blink of an eye. But even so, my years may still be long and beautiful because of you." And so, we were together, quietly, as if it was destined. We spent weekends watching movies, rowing boats, visiting bookstores to drink tea and read. We went to the seaside boardwalk to listen to the wind and wait for the moon, climbed mountains to step on stones and admire the flowers, stood on building rooftops to chase clouds, and sat by the river to play with fish. The happiness of first love filled our quiet lives. Soon, our relationship spread around the school. I was overjoyed, thinking we would receive blessings. But instead, we faced malicious attacks from many classmates. One day, after a PE class, we went to the cafeteria for a meal. I quietly told her, "Babe, during the game, something happened." She looked confused. "What?" I scratched my head and blurted out, "My pants tore." She froze for a second, then burst out laughing. I urged her to stop, saying, "Let's eat first. I don't want you to be hungry. I'll sit in a corner, and you can get the food for me." She agreed, as always. But this trivial matter somehow spread wildly through the class, and soon everyone knew. He's not a real man. He actually made a girl stand in line for food while he sat and waited. Did you hear? The guy in our class is so trashy. He bullies Jennifer and makes her do his homework and wash his lunchbox. Hey, listen up. I heard that guy grew up in a single-parent family, and his character is pretty twisted. I've checked him out. His dad's a terrible person, abandoned his family a long time ago and started a new one. I also heard that guy tried to make a move on a girl in middle school, but when she didn't agree, he slapped her. He later transferred to our school. Gossip spread wildly, full of strange and varying versions, all running like wildfire. As a result, I became the target of everyone's disdain. I clearly remember one time walking with Jennifer along the school path and running into a few classmates. They openly threw me disdainful looks and mocked, "Jennifer, look at your elegant figure. How did you end up with such a loser? A toad." This one line, even years later, still holds its sting, making me feel incredibly wronged. Even the teachers believed the rumors and became wary of me. With my innate pride, I refused to explain myself to anyone. From that point on, I distanced myself from people, as if I had disappeared into the mist. Just at that moment, my rival took action. He began openly sending Jennifer breakfast and shamelessly escorting her back to the dormitory. He took the offensive, robbing me of my love. Jennifer wasn't good at turning down other people's kindness. His actions became bolder, receiving support from both teachers and classmates. Eventually, it seemed natural that he became the one by her side. As I thought about all these things and our current situation, tears nearly overflowed. The Dragon Boat Festival soon arrived. We agreed to meet by the river to watch the dragon boat races at the pavilion by the bridge. She arrived early, and at first, I didn't understand why she left so early. When I got there, I realized that my rival had cut me off. He had learned about our date from a casual chat with Jennifer. He then asked Jennifer, "Can I come too? You two can have fun, and I can take pictures for you." Jennifer, with her gene of not rejecting people, agreed. Not only that, but she also promised the guy that she would go out earlier with him for breakfast. By the time I arrived, they were chatting happily and seemed to be in high spirits, as if I were the third wheel. I have to admit, that day was truly the day of my great humiliation. I followed behind them, becoming the photographer. It wasn't until summer break that Jennifer found a part-time job at a milk tea shop. I could never have predicted that the shop was opened by the uncle of my English teacher, and she recommended Jennifer for the job, also suggesting him. I also tried to apply, but despite my best efforts, having memorized all my lines and prepared myself well, I still couldn't impress the store manager. I was exhausted and defeated. Reluctantly, I took a less ideal route and became a volunteer at an elderly care home next to their milk tea shop. The volunteer work was light, and since I was still a student, they didn't assign me any heavy tasks. My daily tasks were simply to chat with the elderly, play chess, make them laugh, and listen to their stories. Honestly, my time volunteering at the elderly care home deeply impacted me. I heard many real and moving life stories, which made me realize how many difficult decisions people face in life. Most importantly, it strengthened my resilient character, which refused to yield to fate. It also inspired me to pursue and reflect on the kindness of human nature. I think, in the later years of my life, the ease with which I could feel happiness is largely thanks to this experience. During my free time, I would often visit the milk tea shop to help them with cleaning. To be humble, I envied their closeness, living together, sharing hardships and joys. Summer passed by quickly. We entered the intense final year of high school. The homeroom teacher and subject teachers were now uneasy, feeling the critical moment was approaching, ready for battle. The first to act was the English teacher. She found my girlfriend and said, "How is it? Are you still together? I won't interfere with your matters, neither supporting nor opposing, but I'll tell you what's on my mind. I really think you deserve someone better, and I think you can choose someone better. You know, these 2 years, I've let you be the class representative because I care about you so much. But I want to remind you again, study comes first. The college entrance exam comes first. These were the words she later told me, every single one etched in my memory. Things escalated further when the homeroom teacher, in an effort to separate us more thoroughly, arranged for her to become a day student. She moved into the English teacher's house near the school, and every day, the teacher personally picked her up and dropped her off. It became a privilege that all the classmates envied, seeing her as the school's goddess, receiving such exaggerated protection from all the teachers. In the second semester, the history teacher also took action. My history grades were pretty good, and the history teacher was the most patient with me among the subject teachers. He came to me and spoke a lot, but he never dared to look me in the eye while speaking. You're very smart. I noticed that in your first year. No wonder Jennifer is so infatuated with you. You've been dating for 2 years now, right? You must have learned something about love. So, what do you think love is? I was stunned and didn't answer. Let me tell you a story. 20 years ago, there was a young man just like you, deeply in love with his girlfriend. Every day, he would get up early and walk several blocks to buy her warm soy milk. He would fight with other boys for her, work during the holidays to buy her gifts, and travel thousands of miles to watch movies with her. That 1,000-mile journey, back and forth, was a lonely yet blissful road. The most memorable part was one night when we went out for late-night snacks and drank the best taro soup. In order to let her taste it before she went to sleep, I drove too fast, and during a turn, the car flipped into a ditch. I was so upset to the point of tears because the soup spilled. The history teacher's eyes reddened slightly as he relived those happy memories. There was another time when I bought her a beautiful bouquet of flowers. I was so eager to see her surprised expression when she received them that I drove too fast again. During a sharp turn, the bouquet in the front passenger seat was thrown to one side by inertia, and in my panic, I reached out to grab it. My hand got scratched by the thorns, leaving several deep red marks. I was still so angry enough to cry, because the flowers were ruined. He paused, as if lost in thought. What I'm trying to say is, every time I went to see her, I gave it my all. I couldn't wait. I was impatient, racing against time. At that time, I really felt like she was the one for me, and I'd give all my passion to her. I cleared my social circle and cut off all her escape routes, dedicating myself entirely to her. Later, after we graduated from college, we both attended each other's graduation ceremonies, and everyone thought we were about to get married. But in the second year after graduation, she passed the entrance exam for graduate school. She resolutely ended our 7-year-long relationship, and I was heartbroken, suffocating from the pain. I spent over a month waiting under her dormitory building. Later, I found out she had stayed at a classmate's house to avoid me. That month must have been the most painful month of my life, seeing no hope, while foolishly holding on to all the hope, only to end in disappointment and despair. The teacher pushed his glasses up and wiped the corner of his eye with his finger. In the end, she sent me only 6 words. Those 6 words were the last communication between us. Forgive me, I need to fly. When he said these words, it was as if he was struggling to spit out a fishbone stuck in his throat. She passed the graduate exam and gave up on me. Later, I also took the exam, but it didn't help our relationship. I became a teacher, a husband, a father, and gradually came to understand. The true meaning of love is to let her move towards something better, even if the price is leaving. Protect her. Let her go. After the teacher finished speaking, he lowered his head in silence. I understood the last few words. No wonder the teacher had asked me what love was. Turns out, it was letting go. I made up my mind and solemnly told the teacher, "Teacher, I understand. For the sake of not affecting her studies, I will break up with her this week. Thoroughly. Once and for all. No lingering ties." The history teacher's eyes sparkled like summer fireworks, and he slowly raised his head, looking both gratified and pained. After a long pause, he spoke again. "You still don't understand." I was stunned, my face full of confusion. "What do you mean?" The teacher lowered his head again and continued speaking. "Do you know about Jennifer's family? She has 3 brothers and 3 sisters. Her father was nearly 60 when he had her, and at first, he sent her away. But later, she found her way back home. However, the fact that he sent her away caused her great emotional harm, so several of us subject teachers have been paying close attention to her. The teacher's tone was heavy. After she returned home, she didn't receive the care and love she should have. Her brothers and sisters felt she shouldn't have come back, and her parents often scolded her for being unnecessary. In this distorted family environment, she became very sensible, hardworking, and well-behaved. Maybe it was a lack of love. And you are a very loving person, which we can all see. Maybe your presence filled the love gap for her. She depends on you, and perhaps in her heart, you are like her family. Her family didn't take care of her. And even after she graduated from middle school, when her family didn't want her to continue her studies, she secretly worked a summer job to save up for tuition. She enrolled in high school on her own. 2 years have passed, and she is very tired, very afraid. She needs stable security. Over these 2 years, we have all seen that you are sincere in your love for her. Honestly, at first, several of us teachers had some reservations about you, but now we can see that you are indeed worthy of her. I was deeply moved and felt an immense sense of guilt toward the teachers, unable to stop myself from sobbing. The teacher patted my shoulder and continued, "Stable security, do you know what that means?" I quickly asked, "What is it?" "It's university. It's getting into university." Only by getting into university, only with a university degree, can she have a lifetime of security. Just like my girlfriend, she resolutely left to pursue her own security. The reason I'm telling you all this is to make it clear that, as men, we should never stand in the way of a girl's pursuit of lifelong security in the name of love. This is for a lifetime. The teacher's tone became more serious and sincere, but I felt like I couldn't breathe, as if countless hands were choking me. I cautiously asked, "So what should I do?" The teacher lowered his voice. "We all know that Jennifer can't live without you. She's always the one refusing to break up. We also know that you've made up your mind. But what's the use? This will only continue to affect her studies. The only way to fix this now is... you need to drop out." Good heavens. After talking all night and crying all night, it turns out he was subtly advising me to withdraw. I felt a chill running through me, my body trembling uncontrollably. Don't I need security? Don't I deserve to go to university? Don't I deserve a future? Why push me to the brink like this? This was my most respected history teacher, a kind and gentle man, yet he spoke the most heart-wrenching words. Seeing me silent, he quickly seized the opportunity. "Over the past 2 years, we have seen how much you love her. We all support you and are hopeful that you too will have a happy ending. Do it for both of your futures. You know, the one who sacrifices is often us men. All the teachers praise you, saying you're devoted, responsible, and reliable. Now is the time to prove to everyone that they weren't wrong about you. If we look at both of your overall grades, who do you think has a better chance of getting into university? You or her?" I didn't respond. He continued, "Everyone knows Jennifer's grades are excellent. She is definitely going to a top university. The school leadership is very supportive of her. If you make a rational choice, I believe you would choose for her to go to university. You are very responsible, and we all know that. Looking long-term, after she gets into university, her family won't support her. Her siblings have their own families and heavy burdens. At this point, she will need you, her boyfriend. Love is selfless. It's about giving. It's about sacrifice. If you drop out, you won't disturb her studies. She may be sad for a while, but with the support and guidance from us teachers and classmates, we believe she'll quickly refocus on her studies. And your sacrifice of your studies to work and earn her tuition fees is frankly a great way of preserving your love. You are protecting her future, shielding her from the storm. From a higher perspective, you are a hero." The teacher spoke many more words, but I couldn't listen anymore or remember them. I was caught in a difficult decision. At the end of the conversation, I mustered the courage to ask the teacher weakly, "If I drop out and go home, teacher, can I still keep my right to take the college entrance exam?" The teacher was overjoyed, as if my response was exactly what he had hoped for. he repeatedly answered. Of course, of course. But during this time, you must not contact her. Any further matters will be arranged by us. We'll tell her that you went to work to earn money for her tuition. Trust the teacher. I'll speak well of you to her and keep an eye on her. The next day, I packed my things. I knew my mother was the most hurt by this, but I had made up my mind and didn't plan to explain anything to her. I had no other choice. Before leaving the school, I went to the office to ask the homeroom teacher to sign the off-campus safety agreement. As I was approaching the office, I heard many teachers laughing and talking loudly. A celebratory atmosphere in the air. Just as I was about to knock, I heard a familiar voice. It was the political science teacher, that rare, powerful alto voice. How could anyone mistake it? I heard her excitedly ask, Really? Are you really going back? This is great. The bonus for improving the university admission rate is within reach. Another familiar voice replied. Don't worry, he promised me. There won't be any issues this time. He will definitely go back. It was the history teacher. I was numb, heartbroken beyond measure. Another voice joined in. Will he take the college entrance exam? It was the English teacher, as calm and composed as usual. The history teacher replied, Yes, let him take it. He's doing okay in his grades. His history is quite good. Sigh, if it weren't for Jennifer, I'd truly be reluctant to see him go. The political science teacher added, Forget it, with his political science scores. Whether he takes the college entrance exam or not won't make any difference. The history teacher said, Don't say that. Everyone has unlimited potential. The political science teacher responded, I believe that. Everyone has unlimited potential. But the premise is that they're a person. I was angry. What had I done wrong? How am I not a person? I was about to rush in and argue. Then the math teacher spoke. He was there too.
He's the head of the teaching department. Shouldn't he be in the administration office?
Why was he here celebrating? The math teacher said, Well, honestly, during the time they've been in a relationship, Jennifer's math grades have been dropping drastically. There were 2 mock exams where she only scored a little over 100. At the department meeting, I didn't even dare bring it up. Now, this is like abandoning the car to save the general, cutting off the arm to survive. The political science teacher said, Abandoning the car to save the general, cutting off the arm to survive. Let me say this. If that kid can get into a university, I'll cut off my head and let you sit on it as a stool, then you can kick it like a soccer ball. The homeroom teacher finally spoke. Enough. He should be here to get my signature by now. The political science teacher responded, Hurry up, the faster the better. Then there was a long period of silence. To avoid the awkwardness, I waited outside for a moment before knocking and entering. The teachers were all there, looking at me reluctantly. They all said some shallow, meaningless blessings and expectations, but to me, their words were disgustingly fake. I didn't stay for long and quickly left. I left my high school behind. 2.5 years of youth, the best 17 years, no longer had anything to do with me. When I got home, I told my mother simply, I'm not going to school anymore, then rushed to my room and cried uncontrollably. My mother, perhaps hearing my cries, guessed what had happened and didn't ask or make a scene. But from that day on, she cried every day. I knew all her hopes were placed on me. Now that I dropped out and came home, her heart must have been in unbearable pain. But what could I do? I could never let my mother beg anyone again. Before the college entrance exam, I spent almost all my time in my room. Except for eating and showering, I rarely left. My mother became more and more desperate, and her hair turned gray rapidly. All I felt was heartache. My mother said that after I dropped out, some relatives mocked me, saying that they had always known I wasn't someone who would succeed. She told me that it was okay not to study, but I had to live with dignity. I have always remembered those words, carved into my heart. The college entrance exam was near, and I finally stepped back into my campus. All the pain and joy rushed into my mind. They had been sealed away for too long, and now they surged out like a flood, covering the whole mountain. After the college entrance exam, I found out that my girlfriend had gotten together with her desk mate. What was even more strange was that the day before the exam, she found out that her desk mate had been dating another girl at the same time. After the heartbreak, she got drunk alone. The next day, she even missed the Chinese exam. Her desk mate, meanwhile, had his academic performance drop significantly because of dating two girls at once. On the night before the exam, his player behavior was exposed, which caused him to lose focus and rush through the exam, running out of time on many subjects. Finally, the results came out. At 12 noon, it was like opening a lottery. I hesitated in front of the computer for a long time, but I couldn't bring myself to click it. Finally, my mother burst in, her face full of excitement, shouting, "Son, you're on the list! You made it! You passed the undergraduate line! Ha ha ha!" I was shocked. Why? My mother said she had seen I was too afraid to check the results. So she secretly called my homeroom teacher, got my exam number, and helped me check. She ran over and grabbed my hand, looking into my eyes, and repeated, "You passed, son. You really passed." My mother's voice trembled, tears of happiness streaming down her face. I slowly closed my eyes. I finally made it. I looked at my mother, still lost in endless joy. This moment was the greatest pleasure of my life!